Hi, this is Ron from Entertainment Enclosed, and I'm here with Maruga Booker, Doug Weaver, and Benjamin Piner.
How are you all today?
Hello.
Yeah, I'm glad that he invited me out here. This is a privilege to be here, and outstanding musician as far as winning.
Of the Detroit Music Awards for Outstanding World Percussionist. I was nominated for a Grammy for my work with Merle Saunders and Jerry Garcia on Blues from the Rainforest, and awarded the Voices for Peace Award from the Hiroshima Voices for Peace Committee and the mayor of Hiroshima with Taketo Kato.
Wow, that's some impressive credits there. What is your major influence? I mean, how did you come about being where you're at now?
Well, my father was an accordion player, and he studied with Misha Bishkov, who had the Warsaw Music Store, and Misha played accordion, and he taught my father accordion. So from the age of 3, I knew music, and at 6 I started studying accordion with Misha. But Misha also was a drummer, so by 14 I started playing drums, learning drums with Misha, and Misha also taught Gene Krupa.
Really?
So I have the old lineage of the old jazz drummers, and aside from that, it's the old jazz drummers, old Papa Joe Jones, Philly Joe Jones, Max Roach, Gene Krupa, Art Blakey, Joe Morello, Mel Lewis, Sonny Payne, Chico Hamilton. There's all these great jazz drummers that influenced me, but then the Eastern drummers and the tabla players and the doumbek players of the East influenced me because I'm Serbian, and so therefore I was influenced by Mid-Eastern music as well. And then I started hearing all of the old blues guys playing in the 50s, John Lee Hooker and Jimmy Reed and Junior Wells a little later, who I ended up playing with a bit, and Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters. And
Wow.
then before you know it, in the 60s I ended up doing a gig with Jimmy Reed and being booked with John Lee Hooker as Hooker and Booker. And we
Wow.
played the Chessmate Coffee House and the 20 Grand and the Red Carpet, right? And so they were my influence. And when I was 15, I made a hit record with the Low Rocks. And so it was Blueberry Jam. Early rock and roll was influenced to me by the early rhythm and blues musicians. And then we played our version of that, and that became early rock and roll. And then I started listening to Dave Brubeck and Miles Davis and John Coltrane and Elvin Jones. And that started influencing me on a whole other kind of level.
Yes, yes.
Could we get a little bit of your background and
My
what
background?
your influences are?
Well, it all started in Miami. I looked into the hi-fi, I seen this record spin around and heard this jazz music. And that was my mother listening to music. She loved music. She was a musician. And I just fell in love with music. She taught me how to tune her guitar before I even learned how to read, before first grade. She taught me how to play these boogie-woogie bass lines on her guitar. I took piano, then lost interest and wish I would have kept on, and then started on guitar when I was like 12 and was self-taught and kept on, then started bands when I was like a teenager, and then I heard the bass. I always loved the bass, but then I heard Stanley Clarke play the bass, and then I put down the guitar because I never heard the bass like that, so I concentrated on the bass. But now I pick up the guitar once in a while.
Wow, that's great.
And so I've seen him about 25 times now and met him. And he's been my mentor throughout the years. And
I know this.
learned a lot.
I've been
Yeah.
around there with you, so.
And I met Maruga about a year ago and came over here last September. We played a song and said, "You want to make an album?" I said, "Yeah." And that album was made final nomination for the Detroit Music Awards. And since then, we've done 2 more albums, and we got Doug here in the back, A third
He's our other bass player.
the bass player.
We have two basses because in Nashville in the early days they had one bass string playing in two, the other electric playing in four. I always wanted to do that. Now here we have it, right? It's traditional hoedown style.
Great.
And I have, many other bass influences. There's many talents out there. Jaco Pastorius was a major influence. Alfonso Johnson. And the bass is just liberated. I mean, there's so much talent out there. It just blows my mind.
Well, you're an
Victor
upcoming talent too
Well, thank
yourself,
you.
so.
Victor Wooten, I met him and talked to him. He's just a great guy.
He is.
Yeah.
And so since I did Weather Report, right, and he has this here similar experience, we sort of like meet in that area, of funky, jazz, and world music, right? And Doug here has a really great pop and funk and, world style. So we combine these two things, and it allows us to actually have a group with a bass and the bass to play like free and piccolo bass and things. And this is my production studio, Sage Court is our production studio. Because what I learned from a lot of the stars, is that you have to have your own production studio to develop yourself constantly. You have to be living in the studio. So that's what we do here.
I'm here about twice a week. It's around the corner, so it's really nice.
Yeah, that's great being so close. Doug,
Yeah.
how are you today?
Good,
Good. I'm glad you guys let me sit in on the rehearsal.
Yeah.
What are your influences and
Well, my first ones were like Elvis Presley with You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog. Somebody would be singing it on the way home from school,
Yeah.
and of course that's a song that makes you think about what he's talking about. And just the Beatles and all that. So I like pop music, guys. I like to learn certain songs so I'm ready in case somebody wants to play it, and also being a bass man, you always got to follow the guitar player through life. So I've done a lot of that for years.
super.
And I love the Beatles too, see, and so because they had that pop background, in the '60s. So we combine his popness, and rhythm and blues, and the jazzness and the world thing, and we're creating our own music now.
Well, when I saw the Beatles, that Sullivan show, it's like, I want to be in a band, play guitar. So
Great.
they were a heavy influence too.
Well, I really appreciate you guys letting me come and sit in. It was just a
Thank you
pleasure
so
to
much,
meet
Ron.
you.
Thank you.
And it's wonderful that you're doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
Thank you.
propagating musicians and art and things that are going on. We really need this, and we need people more like you and your company to keep on doing
Well,
this.
thank you very
And
much.
yeah, and so I developed my own little record company, Musart. You see,
Musart.
yeah,
Musart.
and my record company is
Music and
Sage
art.
Court. And
Something to remember.
I'm on Wikipedia, Maruga Booker. It tells you all about
Oh, yes.
the insanity and the
Look it
and the divine things and the crazy things that I've been through.
up.
And God bless all of you. God bless
Yes,
the world.
God bless.
World peace through inner peace, tolerance, love, understanding, and co-creativity and spirit to make a wonderful world. God bless you all.
Thank you,
Thank you.
and good night.
Good night. Be yourself.